Johns, congratulations on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about the project and how you guys initially got involved with it.
Why don't I start with that? Uh, so Dinner with the Parents is based on a format that's been very successful in the UK called Friday Night Dinner. And when CBS Studios brought this to me, I watched the original series and I instantly saw myself in it because it's a show about that thing where when you go home to visit your family, you, no matter how far you've come in life, no matter how much you've accomplished, you instantly kind of revert to age 13 or 14. And, it's the same nicknames, the same rivalries, the same, family lingo that's used, the same relationships, grudges, all of that. And it can be a little bit of an emotional pressure cooker. And the comedy of the show comes from the very bad choices that the characters make when they're under that pressure. And all of that just felt very resonant to me. I grew up in a very similar family with one brother, like the family on the original series. And I was very excited to kind of take that format and uh, uh, kind of redo it with my family instead of the family of Robert Popper, the guy who created the original show. Even though our families are very similar, I was very excited to make, kind of make it my own. So that's how I got involved.
John?
I auditioned and I got the job.
Well, tell us a little bit about your character in the show.
I played the neighbor. So I just kind of pop in and out every now and then. And my character also has a dog who's always in tow, which was also pretty joyful for me because I have a dog, as we showed earlier before we jumped on with you. And so, we filmed in London, which was incredibly cool, but I missed my dog terribly and my kids, but at least my dog. So whenever I went to work, I had a dog as well, which was really the best. Sham is the dog's real name, and his fake name is Lamb, which is short for lamb. So it was a very, very hilarious. Yeah, it was just so yeah, for me, audition, got the job, pure fun.
Yeah. For both of you, tell us about a scene from this season that spoke to you, either comedically or, on a personal level.
Um, well, since we have Jon Glaser here, I should mention that late in the season, uh, we were working on a story in which John's character, Donnie, the neighbor, who, so just to back up, uh, John's character, Donnie, and Dan Bacadol's character, Harvey, the dad, do not care for each other. And we wanted to do a story late in the season where, after butting heads all season long, they realize that they actually have something in common. And I didn't know what that should be. And so late one night, I texted John and Dan Bacadol and was like, I want you guys to be able to bond over something. Is there anything you guys can do, or like a hobby or anything like that? And John, was it you or Dan who first piped in and said, well, I can hacky sack a little? It was you, right?
I
Was it
can't
you?
remember. I almost
I
want to
think
go
it was
on my
John.
phone and
I,
look it up.
I believe, yeah, I believe it was John who said, I can hacky sack a bit from back in the day. And I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. Dan, what about you? And he was like, yeah, I can hack. I was like, are you kidding me? And so we wrote scenes in which they bond over their undiscovered mutual love of hacky sacking. And so what happened next was I said to the director and producers, we want to shoot this scene. And the scene involved a fair amount of complicated dialogue between the two guys while hacky sacking. And everyone was like, so, what's our budget for CGI? We're not going to be able to do this. It's going to take all day. And the guys were like, I remember John being like, relax. Like, it's going to be fine. And we got out there on the day, and everybody's staring at me like we're screwed, we're screwed. And the director calls to action. John and Dan execute the scene word perfect on the first take, keeping the hacky sack going back and forth the whole time, doing tricks, John catching it on his head at the end of the scene. And the director calls cut. And I'm like, all right, moving on. And we ended up playing around with it some more, but the fact is we got the scene, nailed it on the first take. So that was a very, very satisfying experience for me.
John, do you
Yeah,
have
I
another
will
one?
say that my character, I like wearing hats, and so does my character. Donnie wears a visor, is where we ended up. I kind of think is a really enjoyable choice, as you'll see, or maybe you've already seen for the character. And I was able to catch the hacky sack on the brim, and we also got sent the screeners, and that's one of the first things I went to watch. I just wanted to see how it looked. And one of my running jokes at the time was take that money that you saved on visual effects and just give it to me. And once I watched it, I've renewed that joke, and I'm going to keep making it until I actually get some money.
So finally, it's quite a good ensemble cast. Share sort of any memory that you have of working with this team of talented actors, comedians, that you'll take away from this experience.
Oh man. Well, I mean, for me, the fact that I'm now in a group chat with Carol Kane justifies this entire experience, if nothing more. And I just was such a fan of hers and so happy, she didn't get cast until the very last moment. Uh, and I just was thrilled to be able to work with her and get to know her. And she just made me laugh on set all the time. I mean, as did everybody. I mean, this is the funniest group of people and the most talented group of improvisers that I think I've had the pleasure to work with. Michaela and Dan are geniuses and so quick, and as is John. Uh, Daniel Thrasher has built himself an empire completely on his own, with a camera and a computer, and it just blows me away what he's done. And one thing I remember, as it happens, he and Henry are astoundingly gifted musicians. And so when I think of working on the show, I think of Henry grabbing a guitar, which was a prop guitar off the wall, because on the show, Harvey is a guitarist. Now, Dan Bacadol does not play the guitar, but Henry is brilliant at guitar. And so, we'd be between takes, and he would just be noodling around, and it would be like some of the best guitar playing I've ever heard in my life. Um, it was, for me, it was just so much fun to hand things over to these actors every day and watch them make it better, which they always did.
John?
Yeah, my experience was very different from the main cast, just because they're the family. They were there every day, pretty much together, and I would just kind of come in here and there. So I didn't get that same kind of familial bonding experience that most of the cast had, which was simultaneously like it would have been fun to have more of that, but at the same time, I took full advantage of my time off. And I mean, I had such a great time working. I certainly, especially with someone like Carol Kane, was so funny all the time. But my fondest memories will be my country bike rides in the British country, my beautiful British bicycle that I bought, which was, oh my God, just true joy. But also the job was great. It really was fun. I just wasn't there as much as the family. So it was, on our group text, it was, they'd be all working like crazy. And then I'd be like, look what I did today. and sending me pictures from the countryside on my bike, and it was pretty hilarious. I remember at one point Dan wrote like, "What'd you do today, Jon? What fun thing did you do today?" I felt a little guilty, but if I were in that position and there was a cast member that had all this time off and they weren't taking advantage of it, I'd be mad. Get out there and have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. John, thank you very much for taking time to talk to us, and
Thank you,
congratulations
Eric.
on the show.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for watching the You Interview channel. With over 3,000 original celebrity videos, we have one of the largest collections of celebrity interviews anywhere. So remember to like and comment on our videos and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get more involved, you can become a member of the channel. Membership has its perks. You can see exclusive celebrity videos and get the opportunity to ask our celebrity guests questions. We can't wait to hear from you.